So the Railroad Commission doesn't have anything to do with railroads. It's the oil and gas regulator for the state of Texas. The Railroad Commission does everything from grant permits for drilling to monitoring emissions to making sure that people who violate the laws are cited and made to comply with the regulations. There is a common sense segment to the industry that knows that what is happening with climate change is real and that the oil and gas industry has an impact on greenhouse gas emissions that we can mitigate. I talk about the need for a recognition that we both have an oil and gas-based economy here in Texas, but we can also do better if we would just simply enforce the laws that have been on the books for 100 years that prevent against the worst of these releases. Flaring is the intentional lighting on fire of natural gas to no productive benefit. More than expected, natural gas comes up with that oil. If they can get pipelines to take it away, it costs more to move it to the market to sell it than they're going to get when they get it there. So it's an economic drag on oil production. It's illegal, as it has been for 100 years, unless the Railroad Commission grants somebody an exception permit. In 2008, 100 were granted. In 2019, almost 7,000 were granted. What happened was the Permian became hot again, and once we started producing oil, there was a lot of natural gas that no one really wanted, and that's how all the flaring ended up happening, and a lot of venting too. This particular position is our best opportunity to get a handle on one of the biggest contributors to climate gases nationwide. And so flaring, for example, releases volatile organic compounds, which are the things that lodge deep in your lungs and cause asthma and lung disease. Flaring causes women living within 3 miles of those flares to give birth prematurely 50% higher than if they weren't living next to those flares. Let's turn it into electricity there. If we converted it all to electricity, it would be enough to power the city of Houston continuously. We wouldn't put strain on the rest of the Texas ERCOT grid, especially in hot summer days when we call up coal-fired power plants. Really where we need to move is towards generating the electricity and the power nearest to the use as we possibly can. We avoid a lot of inefficiencies that way, and we will get to a much greener, cleaner climate if we did that. There's a lot of things that can be done, but it takes time. It can't be done overnight, and if we try to do it overnight, we're going to create a far worse problem than if we can do it, thoughtfully, certainly swiftly as possible, but it's going to take time and planning. Because a lot of this stuff has been in place for 100 years. The transition really has not been planned or funded yet. If people will just get out and vote in this election, we will change the world on November 3rd. It's not going to be immediate, but it'll be changed.